Well, welcome back to my favorite training. And if you want to achieve a high level of success in your rain business, I want you to make sure that you pay attention to today's training, because if you follow these 7 simple core commitments, number 4, the daily rain dance, I think has been the most important one for me, and that's why you hear all this passion in my voice. So here is what we are going to cover today. We're going to cover doing an effective exposure and launch. And really what that is your daily rain dance, and how sharing Rain, Soul Pure Wellness, or Core, or any other Rain product, if you're listening to this in the future, twice a day, and how to do that. Also, we're going to teach you a simple secret to staying organized. So stick around for that. We've got a video for you. I think you're going to love this one, because this is where the money is. The fortune is in the follow-up, and we have a very special way to teach you how to follow up. And actually, my favorite is I'm out of peanut butter. Julie Shepard, our trainer, is going to share with you why saying I'm out of peanut butter is so important to your Rain business. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Julie Shepard, our trainer, to teach you right now how to do an effective exposure / rain dance. Julie, take it away.
Thank you so much, Ingo. So doing the rain dance, that means telling at least minimum 2 people every day about Rain and Soul and Core products. You want to tell 2 people every day. If you tell 2 people every day, by the end of the month, doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're consistent and persistent, you will have 60 people to follow up with. So the first thing you want to do to be effective is be normal. Okay? There's a difference between being exciting and being excited. We want to be exciting. You don't want to be coming out of your skin and attacking people saying, oh my God, this is the most fabulous thing you'll ever see in your life. You just want to be normal. You have to find out if they're available first, because sometimes people can't listen to what you have to say the minute you want to share it with them. So you set the scene by saying to them first, number 3, which is, I only have a sec. If you say that to people in a gentle way, they'll understand that you're not going to be taking up a whole lot of their time. And we're not going to be taking up a whole lot of their time. We want them to simply look at a little bit of information. So, number 4, you have to find out when they're free so that they can take a look at the information. But most importantly is number 5, and you should include why. In your invitation is the reason that they should even take their good time to view the information. One of the most effective tools that you can use on sharing information with people without having to explain it all yourself is to direct them to the Life Concentrated video, which is right here on Rain TV on the 3 Seed Lounge website. So, how do you pique somebody's interest so that they'll want to go immediately and take a look at it? You use what I call irresistible phrasing. You don't tell them how it's going to change their life or improve their health or make them rich. You just simply say to them, it would mean the world to me that you see this information. Now, if you said that to a complete stranger or your best friend or someone in your family, I think it has a slightly different impact, and it will have a very different result, that they will want to do you a favor and take a look at it. What they won't realize is that by looking at the information, they're most importantly going to be doing themselves a big favor. So, moving on to the next slide, where do you find people to talk to? Maybe you've talked to everybody in your family. Maybe you don't have a large family. So, Ingo, where do we find new prospects?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I was so new to this business, and I thought, a cool place to find prospects for me personally was the gym. And it may seem obvious, but it's just been a favorite of mine. And here are a few reasons why finding prospects at the gym, can really work for you. Motivated people go to the gym, especially either on their lunch break or mornings, but really people with goals spend time in the gym. And if you're looking for good business prospects, you're looking for goal-orientated people. It's a great place to start. And if you've ever taken a class, a yoga class, Pilates class, kickboxing class, and you're standing there in line, because I've done this, it's a great way to just start building rapport and chatting somebody up. I even have handed people packets of Soul right there and then. They're going, oh my gosh, I was feeling terrible and now I feel amazing. Or, oh, I didn't have my smoothie this morning, and guess what? I just gave them like 4 smoothies and 1 shot of Core, and we had instant dialogue. Now, a great second place that I really have found to be amazing is eventbrite.com. And I'm going to leave a handout down below this video so you'll get some more of my ideas. But Eventbrite is great because you can search your local area and find classes, network marketing events, and other events that are of interest in your niche. And the cool thing about this site is you can usually see who the organizer is. You can get detailed info on who should be attending or who's going to be exhibiting. I love this because you're looking, listen, you're looking for business contacts. And you're looking for people maybe that sell health products or people with similar interests that are about our type of products that we have here at Rain International, right? So this is going to be a great way for you to research new places and to find contacts. And if I had more time, I would really tell you how I've been using Facebook lately, but I'll leave some of that information below. I want you to also understand that prospects are everywhere, and that's why we do 2 daily rain dances a day. You know, in Mel Gibson's movie Braveheart, I love the line that, you know, they may take our lives, but they will never take our freedom. And I have a question for you today. Do you really want security or do you want freedom? And here's another question. Why do the rich get richer? You know, and here is why the rich get richer. And I've asked Julie to explain this because she does the best at this. And so, Julie, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Ingo. There's a wonderful book that many of you have probably heard of or read called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Mr. Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote a follow-up book to that called The Cash Flow Quadrant. And this is a graphic below explaining the different ways that you can produce income. I'm going to simplify it for you right now and just let you look at a slide where it kind of breaks it down very easily. Moving on to the next one. We all fall into one of these 4 quadrants. Everyone does. You're either an employee, where you have a job, or you're self-employed, which basically means you own the job, or you're a business owner, where you have a system that works for you, or you're an investor, and that's where money works for you. So if you look at the left-hand side there, and you're an employee and you have a job, you basically have to go to work every day in order to get a paycheck. I think we can all agree that if we don't show up for work on a consistent basis, you no longer get a paycheck. Now, you may be a little bit more ambitious, and you're self-employed, and that could be anything from an actor to a doctor, someone who owns their own business. And when you own your own business and you're self-employed, you basically own the job, which means if you don't show up, you're still not making money. And I can tell you firsthand, when you're in show business, your job is finding your next job every day. And I did that for 35 years. That can be a little tiring. Then I found this industry, and I became a B-type, a business owner, where you have what is called leverage. If you think about it, that's what your employer has over you. They have leverage. They hire you to do work for them, and they make more money than you. When you do this kind of a system, you own a system that works for you, and you help other people to become successful. They don't work for you, they work with you, which is a beautiful thing. And the more successful you help them to be, the more successful you will be. Everybody wins. And then when you have that, you can invest your money, and then you can just kind of sit back and have your money work for you. It's a beautiful thing. I'm going to simplify it even further. You look at the next slide. If you're on the left-hand side of this graphic, guys, you're poor. If you're on the right side, you're rich. So I think we can all agree we want to be on the right side. And when you're on the right side, eventually you will have freedom. So as you're going through your business and you're doing your daily rain dance and you're collecting 2 people a day, you're going to need some kind of a system to get organized. Following up with 60 people a month may seem like a daunting task, but we have for you what we like to call Fort Knox in a box. What you're going to need are these simple 4 things: a file card box, some blank index cards, and some dividers with numbers and months, because guys, the fortune is in the follow-up. We have a wonderful video from my mentor, Mr. Jesse McPherson, that we're going to share with you, and you can watch Jesse, who's very amusing and very knowledgeable and very successful in this business, on how he stays organized, how he taught me to stay organized, and how to this day, 10 years after starting this system, I still use this same simple system.
Hey everybody, Jesse McPherson here. Today I want to share with you a system on how to keep track of all your contacts, something that helps save a lot of aggravation and frustration and help me with my business. So first of all, when you're talking to people, there's warm market people you know and cold market. Now you can use the system for both markets, but it's primarily more of a cold market system, meaning the people that you meet. And generally what starts to happen is when you start developing this contact list or developing this pipeline of people, or sometimes people we call in play, meaning they're between saying yes and saying no. What you end up having is all these business cards lying around and pieces of paper ripped up, and these are just some from the last few days, people that I just got their information. And unfortunately what happens sometimes is we lose these papers, we don't know where to find them, or you look at it and you go, Lee, and who is Lee, so sometimes you call up Lee and be like, hey Lee, it's Jesse, you remember me? Because I don't remember who you are, you'll say that, but hopefully, or you don't know when you met him or what you gave him and all that kind of stuff. So what they have here is very, very simple. What you want to do is you want to go down to Office Max, Depot, Staples, anywhere, and you want to buy an index card box, okay? Very simple. In fact, buy 2. One is going to be for in-play and one's going to be for storage, all right? Now the great thing about the system is it's easy, it's duplicatable, it's cheap, anybody can do it, and it's very, very, very simple, okay? It's stupid proof. So yes, all of you can do this, right? Because I can. All right? Now, with this, how it works is very simple. What you want to do is you want to buy an index card box. You want to buy blank index cards, lined index cards, very cheap. And then what you want to do is you want to buy the days of the month, okay? So the days of the month, okay? And then you want to buy the months of the year. So, okay, the months of the year. Now, right now, we're in December. While you're watching this video for me, it's December 17th. So when you set up your box, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to put the first day of the month as today's date. And then you're going to go back to the 31st, and then you'll notice after the 31st is what? January. No way, right? Okay. January. And then it's the 1st of January, and going back to the 16th of the month, and then we're into February, and all the way back to December. Okay. So that is my box. That's how you set it up. Very, very simple. So today, when you open up your box for the day of the people that you need to follow up with, you're going to, change the 17th, take the cards out. I'll show you how this works, okay? And then you're going to move the 17th to the back. So it goes to January 17th. So tomorrow, the 18th. So you have a rolling 30-day window always in your follow-up box. Okay? So, oops, that's not the right one. 16th, what did I do here? I messed things up. 17th. There we go. All right, so what you're going to do is this, is you're going to transfer all of this, all this mess and garbage of stuff to index cards. And what you do, and what I do, is I just write the person's name, I wrote their phone number on the top, and then what I do is I write the date that I met them and how I met them or how I remember them. So for instance, when I transfer this one, this is a woman I met who cut my hair, the other day. And so she gave me her name, her email, and her phone number. And so I'd write that on there, and I'd write Debbie, hairstylist, and a little bit about her. She's engaged. We started talking about what she wants to do. She's going to school part-time and also working part-time, but she doesn't want to be doing hair forever because it's us paying the bills. She's still living at home, so, I could write some of that stuff on the card. So on the card, what you're doing is you're writing down any information you need to do to remember the information about that person. So like, for instance, here's somebody, for instance, obviously, that I had a lot of contact with. This is Taylor, and I met him. I got his information, and I met him at Golden Spoon Yogurt, and this was in August, all right? So when I got his information, all I do is every time I call and follow up with Taylor, I just write down what happened with the situation. He plays football. I called him a couple months later, left a message. I called him another time, so I'm keeping track of everything that's going on. So I know, did they watch the information? Did they, what's going on with that person? So I don't have to try to leave my business business to memory. So these are all some contacts. I took them all out of my box just to kind of show you some examples. Now, what you're going to do is this. Let's say Donald, somebody I just contacted. Now, let's say I contact Donald today, and I know I need to follow up with him on, let's say, 2 days from now. So obviously today's the 17th, so I would just put Donald in the 19th. I need to call Donald on the 19th. So what's going to happen is every day when I wake up, on the 19th when I wake up, Donald's card's going to be right in there. I don't have to remember to call him because my box reminds me. Now let's say I call and leave Donald a message, he doesn't pick up, and I know I want to call him about 2 more days, so I put him on the 21st. And then I forget about him. And then on the 21st, I'm like, oh yeah, Donald, right? And so then I can continue to move him wherever. He says, call me in 2 weeks. I put him in 2 weeks. He says, call me in February. I can go put him in February. You know, so that way, all I'm doing is I'm sorting through my deck. Now, the goal is to get as many people in your box as possible, okay? And then those that are uninterested, meaning those that say, not now, or it's not for me, or no, I hate it, you know, whatever, right? That's what your storage box is for. And what you do is you just move people to your storage box. People that maybe you need to drip on later, meaning not now, but call me way down the road. You know, people that said, I'm not interested, or people that have hit their 3-strike rule. What I mean by that is this, is when I leave 3 messages for somebody and they have not returned any of those 3 messages, they are going to my box as a last message. All right. Now, I may call those people later depending on the person, and, you know, if I think they're really sharp, I might keep them in my list. But ultimately, what I'm doing is I'm just sorting through the deck. And what happens is then you have this posture about you because you know you don't care if they say yes or say no because you're just sorting through the deck. Very, very, very simple. So moving along, moving along, moving along. And it's very simple to keep track of your prospects and your follow-ups and not have to try to leave your business to memory and continue to go through. So hope that helps. I would go out there and get it. It's cheap. It's simple. It's easy. It's awesome. So go get it. Why are you still watching? The clip's over.
I love this video, and I know that you will probably play this more than once. And here's a little tip, you guys, and that is I found those month cards on Amazon. It was hard to find them in the office supply stores, the 1 through 30 and the months. So head over to Amazon. You'll be able to find those a lot quicker, and it'll save you some time. And one of my favorite things about Fort Knox as a box is that I can carry that box anywhere. I can even be driving in the front seat of my car and be taking some notes and pull it out of the box and call when I'm driving. So it's wonderful. Now, as we close, I want you to understand this amazing concept. So, Julie, can you share with us what you mean by I'm out of peanut butter?
I sure can. Okay, if you look at this picture of this very attractive blonde lady pulling her hair out of her head, you can see that there's a couple of things maybe going on in her life. And maybe some of you can relate to a few of these things. I'm sure that everyone watching this training tonight can see at least one thing on there that they can relate to that they have going on. So when you're trying to live and work and make a living and take care of your family and do a business, things come up and they can sometimes get to us. And there's a temptation sometimes when we speak to our business partners, whether they're dear friends of ours for a lot of years or brand new people that we've brought in to the company to work with us, there's a temptation to complain and to tell people why you haven't done something. And even if you just have one of these things, like say you have a headache, nobody really wants to hear that. And we certainly don't want to hear from each other a laundry list of things going on in our lives as to why we didn't do what it is we said we were going to do, wanted to do, or need to do, which is be positive and focused on our business. So we can save each other a lot of time by just saying, you know what, I'm out of peanut butter. And our team uses that phrase a lot when we don't want to go into the list of what's really going on or troubling us in our lives, because it really isn't going to help anything. If you think about it, any problem that you've ever had in your life, by worrying about it or talking about it to family and friends, did it really help you solve that problem? No. So we're going to have to find other ways to deal with it. But a great way to pull yourself out of that negative feeling of wanting to complain about all those things that you see there and you don't want to be tearing your hair out of your head, is to simply say to your partner, you know what, I'm out of peanut butter. I know I'll appreciate it when you tell me that, because I don't want to hear it. And I'm sure you'll appreciate that, because believe me when I tell you, you don't want to know what else is going on in my life. Bottom line is, guys, we all have stuff going on, but we don't want to talk about it or complain about it. We don't want to be complainers. We want to be motivated and positive and moving forward all the time, because if you think about it, some of the most negative people we know, and we all know at least one person like that, who all they do is complain. Usually negative people have very negative bank accounts. So we want to be positive people. That doesn't mean being a Pollyanna. That just means keeping it to ourselves, saying I'm out of peanut butter so we can all have a laugh about it, and we can move on to the more positive and productive things to help each other advance our lives and advance our businesses. And that's it.
So listen, thank you, Julie, and here is just a quick review. Really, today we covered the daily rain dance, and to do a minimum of 2 exposures or your daily launch or your rain dance, it's going to take you less than 15-20 minutes to do this a day. And if you remember in our last training, we showed you the baseball diamond. So sometimes, you know, I'll just hand out 2 packets a day. I've done an exposure. Sometimes I'll send a link to somebody via email, and the other time I'll talk to somebody on Facebook. Another time will be I got to send somebody to a blog link or whatever that information or that third-party tool is. So listen, everybody, just try to share in some way, shape, or form twice a day. It is so easy. And you know why you want to be on the right side of the cash flow quadrant, right? That is so important. And we also shared with you today a few ideas of just where to find people. I gave you some suggestions, as well as Julia's, how to gently invite people to look at the information. It would mean the world to me, Julie, if you looked at this information. And once they've looked at it, you know, we gave you the ultimate system to stay organized. The Fort Knox in a Box training is awesome, and as you know now, the fortune really is in the follow-up. So if you don't get back to people to see if they want to try Soul or they want to try Core or they want to be a distributor or a business partner, guess what? Your business is not going to grow, and neither will your bank account. So for now, I am out of peanut butter. Oh my gosh. And guess what? In our next training, here's what we're going to cover. We are going to cover personal development. And I want you to know that I think this is one of my favorite trainings. It's really about committing to getting better every day. We're going to show you how to do that. We're also going to help you find and how to use the power of 2. And that's really to identify someone that you can depend on for accountability, for motivation. In other words, a workout partner to stretch you a little bit in this business. And guess what? Number 7 is really about staying the course. And success, you guys, does not happen overnight. It happens over time. We're going to teach you how to commit and how to maintain your passion. So looking forward to seeing you in our next training. And until then, this is Julie Shepard. This is really not Julie Shepard. It's Ingo, but I just said it's Julie Shepard. So Julie, say goodbye. And thanks, guys. If you have any questions, email us. We'll be happy to get back to you.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome, Julie. I'm out of peanut butter.